Yeah, all right. You're here, week 2, the Pick Six Shootout. I'm your host, Mike Stigs. I'll go over last week's winner playing for the Stigs Sports Fugazi Cup. It's not real. It's fake. Well, last week I was thinking maybe I'll do like a bowl or maybe a bucket. Then I was thinking maybe just, put a White Castle hamburger in a brown bag. But now I'm thinking maybe the championship trophy should be like a snow globe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna go over who won last week because we had to go into the. If there's a tie, we needed a tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker I came up with was a little insane for some contestants. They're like, what are you kidding me doing this kind of thing? But I'll go over it in a second. But this week there's a new contestant putting up $500. He's guaranteeing $500 that he goes 6-0. So, we got a bunch of professionals here. This is all about money, so he's putting up 500 guaranteeing it. Other people calling it out, saying that's fugazi right there. But yeah, I'm gonna go over that in a second. I'm not gonna do a 45 to an hour video. It's gonna be real quick because last week I think 20 minutes was a little too much. So anyway, tiebreaker went in effect. We had 2 people go 4-2 in week 1. 2 people went 4-2. So the tiebreaker came in, and the tiebreaker I came up with, I'll go over in a second. But the tiebreaker is a little extreme. This ain't gonna be easy. If it goes to a tiebreaker, we're like, why don't we just take the points? You do the total of the Monday night game. No, that's too easy. We'll figure something out. I'm creative. I'll come up with something, and I did. But anyway, so 2 people went 4-2. Jimmy Doorbells went 4-2, and Parmesan went 4-2. Now everybody was still thinking it was going to be me. No, I told you last week the odds of me going 6-0 is not going to happen on week 1. No, so I went 3-3. As a matter of fact, when I did the video, I even forgot to put the 6th pick in. So then I had to go and I create a blog, and I put all the picks on. It's StigsTV at blogspot.com. So all the picks are up over there. So, you don't have to pause and write everything down. I'm going to post it on that blog now. Okay, so Jimmy Doorbells went 4-2. Parmesan went 4-2. My cousin Vito, me, and Four Fingers Frank went 3-3. Bobby the Bookie Brovolone, Brooklyn Bobby, 3-3 also. And then Jill the Cake Tease went 2-4. All right, so that's how that went down. So the tiebreaker came down to you take the NASCAR race, everybody picks a driver, or whoever your driver, the better finish is the tiebreaker. So Jimmy Doorbells took Martin Truex, and he is the winner because Martin Truex finished 5th place last week. Parmesan had Joey Logano. He went with the Italian. Parmesan's Italian. I'm going to take the Italian driver, But, yeah, so he took Joey Logano. Joey Logano finished in 17th place. My tiebreaker, if I was 4-2, was going to be Chase Elliott. So Martin Truex finished 5th. Joey Logano finished 17th. So that's the tiebreaker right there. Jimmy Doorbells wins week 1. See, that was everybody's favorite last year. So here he is, week 1. So now his head is it was this big, a little bigger than mine. Now it's this big. So Jimmy Doorbells, week 1. So he's leading, and I'm going to keep track. So right now he's 4-2. I'm 3-3. So I'm 1 win behind right now. So that's how that's going to come down. But because there's 2 people at 4-2, and Jimmy Doorbells is the winner, he gets a half a point. So he's winning 4.5 to 2. So that's where if you win the tiebreaker, you're getting a half a point just to declare the winner. All right. So the first thing I do when I look at sports betting, like I said, this is going to be a sports betting entertainment type of show. The contest is the entertainment part. So right there, right off the bat, I go to week 2 power rankings. In case you haven't looked it up, Bills are ranked number 1, Kansas City Chiefs number 2. That could flip-flop. Some people are saying the Chiefs are better than the Bills. And, you know, you ask 100 people, 50 people are going to say one way, 50 people are going to say the other way. It's pretty much both of those teams are number 1, I'll just go with. The third place team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think they looked that good. It took Brady, you know, he was just throwing bombs downfield. They got the win. LA Rams at 4. You know, these aren't my power rankings. These are someone else's power rankings. I think this is from the NFL.com. So they have the Rams and the Charger at 4 and 5, the Ravens at 6, the Vikings at 7, the Packers at 8, the Bengals at 9, the Eagles at 10. That's your top 10 right there. 11th place is the 49ers, 12th place is the Saints, 13th place is the Dolphins, sleeper team. Raiders, 14th, Colts, 15th. All right, so that's the main thing I do right away is I always look at the opening lines. I check out power rankings. I go over some stats. I'm not going to go over everything, but Mahomes had 5 touchdowns in week 1. He threw 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So that's perfect right there. All right. Carson Wentz, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 313 yards. Joe Burrow, 338 yards, 4 interceptions. That ain't good there. All right, you had 2 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. You know, if you're playing fantasy football, you're like, what are you costing me points here? Rushing, Saquon Barkley of the Giants, 164 yards, 1 touchdown. Receiving, we have we have Jonathan Taylor on the Colts, 161 yards, 1 touchdown. And then there was 4 running backs that had 100 yards. So you look at your quarterbacks, you look at your running backs. All right, you have wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, the Vikings, 9 catches, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he's the king of catching the ball for week 1. All right, so like I said, I'm not going to go into this crazy, I'm not going to do a 30, 40-minute show. So anyway, I'm going to go into week 2's picks right now, and I'm going to shorten it up. Instead of saying who the team is playing against, I'm just going to go as they text me. It's like, all right, so we got two new contestants picking in for this week. All right, now if you're following along and you're going to bet, play at your own risk. You know, no one went 6-0 in week 1. One of these new guys saying he's going 6-0 though. I don't know. I don't know the guy. He said he followed last year and he followed last week, and he's calling out some people. All right, play at your own risk. So the 2 new contestants we got is Rick Razzle Dazzle and Palladium. His name is Paul. We're talking about how we used to go to the Palladium nightclubs in New York City. And that's the one calling out. That's the one guaranteeing 6-0. Palladium. But anyway, let's start off with Rick. Razzle Dazzle Rick here. He's going to take the Jets plus 5.5. The Giants minus 2.5. The Seahawks plus 9.5. The Texans plus 9.5. The Bills minus 9.5. And the Eagles minus 1.5. All right, so that's the new guy. Rick Razzle Dazzle. And then here it is. This is what you've all been waiting for. A guy guaranteeing 6-0. Maybe he does it. Maybe he doesn't. But you know what? Like I said, I don't know the guy. I think, what is it? Provolone told him about the contest. So Bobby Provolone brought him in. So Palladium guaranteeing 6-0, $500 cash going to me. He's putting up 500. if you don't go 6-0, I'm getting $500. Why don't you make it $600? And then Jimmy Doorbells, he called him out too. So hold on, let me get to that in a second. But here is Palladium's guarantee 6-0. Are you ready for this? The Buccaneers -2.5. The Steelers +1.5. Kansas City Chiefs -3.5. The Colts -4. And the Falcons +11. Now, some of these spreads have came down. I think now the Falcons is 10.5. But you know, when you're professional, you want to get the line early. So he texted early, so he got it in at 11. Even my pick, I got it in early too. So guaranteed 6-0. That's what he's saying. All right. So Jimmy Doorbells, last week's winner, after he heard Palladium guaranteeing 6-0, Jimmy Doorbells said he guarantees he's beating them. Jimmy Doorbell says you're not going 6-0. You're lucky if you go 3-3 or 4-2. And Jimmy Doorbell says if he goes 6-0, Jimmy Doorbell said if Palladium goes 6-0, he's gonna give him $500 for each right bet. All right, so you gotta go 6-0, and then it's 500 on top of whatever Jimmy Doorbells does. So let's say 4-2 like he did last week. So then he's going to give him $1,000 because he had 2 losses. But Jimmy Doorbell says his picks are going to beat his Palladium's picks. All right. So really, it's the matchup is Palladium versus last week's winner, Jimmy Doorbells. Jimmy Doorbells called him out. Palladium called out everybody, saying he's going 6-0. So Jimmy Doorbells, Kansas City -3.5. The Buccaneers -2.5. Arizona +5.5. The Bills -9.5. The Bengals -7. The Seahawks +9.5. All right, so there's the picks right there. That's Jimmy Doorbells versus Palladium. My cousin Vito, Washington +1.5. Ravens -3.5. Kansas City -3.5. Buccaneers -2.5. Bengals -7. And the Texans +9.5. All right, Jilla Cake Tees finished last place last week, but she's going with the Dolphins +3.5. Kansas City -3.5. The Colts -4. Tampa Bay -2.5. Arizona +5.5, and the Vikings +1.5. Parmesan, who won 4-2 last week. Kansas City -3.5. Buccaneers -2.5. Texans +9.5. Seahawks +9.5. Titans +9.5, and the Packers -8.5. All right, here's my pick. So if you're waiting for my picks, I'm not going to go last, but I'm going right now. All right, so 3-3 last week. Thanks to you, stupid Titans. But you win 13-0. You blow a 13-0 lead. Ridiculous. All right, so that cost me my ticket. Anyway, Kansas City -3.5. Buccaneers -2.5. Dolphins +3.5. Vikings +1.5. Steelers +1.5. And the Colts -4. Four Fingers Frank. Falcons +11. Seahawks +9.5. The Bears +9.5. The Texans +9.5. Arizona +5.5. And the Buccaneers -2.5. All right, Bobby the Bookie Brovolone, who brought in Palladium. All right, Bobby the Bookie Brovolone. Brooklyn Bobby. Tampa Bay -2.5. The Colts -4. Patriots -1.5. I think that's the only person that took the Patriots this week. Bills -9.5. The Eagles -1.5. And the Bengals -7. So that's all your picks right there. So I'm going to post it on that blog I created, stigstv.blogspot.com. So if you don't want to pause and write this down, I'm just going to make it easy for everybody. All right, so that's how this is going to work. This is week 2 of the Pick 6 Shootout, the Stigs Sports Pick 6 Shootout, and I picked up a sponsor, and the sponsor is Power X Energy Drinks. So Power X Energy Drinks is sponsoring the Stigs Sports Pick 6 sports handicapping shootout. I made it shorter. I just picked Six Shootout. Real easy. All right. Thank you, Power X. Thanks for listening. Make sure you cheer on who your favorite handicapper is. Maybe I'll bring some people on, but I'm gonna have some guests coming up too, and I'm gonna keep this short because we're already at 10, 12 minutes. But follow along. I know some people just play fantasy football. I'm in a fantasy football. I won last week, so thousands of dollars is being up for grab in the fantasy football thing. But anyway, I'm Mike Stigs. Make sure you subscribe and follow Twitter, Instagram, and right here, YouTube, wherever I post this. All right, good luck. Play at your own risk. Let's see who wins the contest.